Before he was an NBA All-Star, Hayward was Stickboy who nearly quit basketball. When Gordon Hayward and twin sister Heather were 10, they started writing letters to Mom on Mother's Day. Over the years, Jody Hayward kept the handwritten notes, binding them in volumes. Mother and son have often recorded "Can you believe it" moments they have shared. There will be another such entry after tonight, when Gordon Hayward is expected to be selected in the first round of the NBA draft. How a small, skinny teenager who thought about quitting basketball grew into a 6'8" pro prospect is a story that defies credulity. No less unbelievable were Hayward's last-second shot to win a state title for Brownsburg High School, his gold medal in the 19 under World Basketball Championship, or his run with the Butler Bulldogs to the NCAA championship game. "You look at pictures of me when I was in 8th grade, and I look completely different," Hayward said. "You just have to thank God for what He's given me." It's not that he never thought about what he wanted to do when he grew up. When he was 5 or 6, he set goals. Hayward was so young that his father had to write them. Years later, the tattered list has a corner missing and the ink is fading. Number 1 on the list? Play in the NBA. Get Gordon the ball. Although Hayward is regarded as a late bloomer, he once was a child prodigy. His father, Gordon Sr., started him with a foam ball and a tiny hoop. Because Brownsburg didn't start organized basketball that early, little Gordon signed up for an Indianapolis league at age 4. The Garfield Park League used small basketballs and 6-foot goals. Late in the first game Gordon Jr. ever played, the score was close with time running out. "Get Gordon the ball, get Gordon the ball," the coach pleaded to the Pee-wee players. "Get Gordon the ball." Thereafter, scores were not kept in any of the games. The league decided a scoreboard made the games too competitive for 4-year-olds. Hayward is naturally competitive. He played everything as a youth: basketball, baseball, football, soccer, tennis, or video games, capture the flag, street hockey, football, cards. "Everything he picks up, he will beat you," childhood pal Blake Hall said. That point was once underscored when Hayward attended a cookout at the home of an assistant basketball coach. The teenagers, several of them on their way to college football careers, were wrestling in the backyard swimming pool and holding each other underwater. A contest ensued. An outsized sophomore won. Hayward hated to lose at anything. "He's always had this moxie about him," said Joshua Kendrick, the Brownsburg High School basketball coach. Hayward played summer basketball, usually on more than one team, after spending long days at North Central High School's youth tennis program. One of his travel coaches, Brett Kummer, called him Stickboy because he was so thin. Kummer, now the Brownsburg High School football coach, told him there were 2 words in his future: weight room. Coaches saw more than that in Hayward's future. Another travel coach, Mike Dove, said the boy's basketball knowledge and ball handling skills were exceptional for one so young. Boyhood friend Mark Conover Jr. said it was like Hayward had a sixth sense. "I told somebody in 5th grade, that's a Division I ball player right there," said Dove, the Brownsburg police chief. Growing Pains Red Taylor, founder of the Municipal Gardens travel teams, once coached Hayward. Taylor, who counts 8 Indianapolis Star Indiana Mr. Basketballs and 71 Indiana All-Stars among those passing through his program, lists Hayward on his all-time starting 5 at point guard. The 4 others became NBA players: power forward Sean Kemp, small forward Alan Henderson, center Eric Montrose and shooting guard Eric Gordon. Hayward's strengths were a calm demeanor and mental quickness, Taylor said. But the boy was ultimately superseded by others who were bigger and stronger. In some summer tournaments, he sat and watched as others played. When Hayward was a freshman, Kendrick asked the players to list goals. "Just don't write that you want to play in the NBA," the coach said. "None of you guys is doing that." "You know, he's probably right," said Jody Hayward, recalling that incident. "But you hate to squash any kid's dreams." Not that the coach failed to notice Hayward. Kendrick did, from day one. Hayward played junior varsity as a freshman and was elevated to varsity as a sophomore. In the sectional that year, Brownsburg's point guard encountered foul trouble and the backup was sick. So the sophomore took over. "He's always had great vision," Kendrick said. "He was always able to get the ball to where it needed to go." Hayward was 5'11" as a freshman. He stood in front of a mirror, practicing how he would tell his coach he was quitting basketball. He was going to concentrate on tennis. Realistically, He thought tennis was his ticket to a college scholarship. His mother encouraged him to give basketball another year. The growth spurt that began during his sophomore year changed everything. Doctors' records show Hayward was 5'9" at the end of 8th grade, making him as tall as his sister. 2 years later, he was 6'4". By the time colleges began recruiting him, he was 6'6". NBA scouts measured him at 6'8". His parents didn't buy him suits because he would outgrow them so quickly. He was to pick up a suit in New York, so he will be properly attired tonight for the moment he walks onto the draft stage and shakes hands with Commissioner David Stern. In one summer game between sophomore and junior years, the newly tall teen was on a fast break, caught the ball and dunked left-handed. No one had ever seen him dunk before. Not in games, not in practices. Those on the bench went crazy. They went crazy, recalled Tony Safford, the Municipal Gardens coach. Hayward remembers the incident vividly, including the court at Warren Central High School where the play occurred. He broke his wrist later that summer and was thus out of sight of most college recruiters. In his junior year, he averaged 13.6 points for a 14-9 team that did not get out of its sectional. He led Brownsburg in scoring in just 6 games, and was a sidekick to Julian Mavunga. Little wonder Hayward attracted little attention. But the month after the high school season, he attended a top 100 workout for Indiana juniors. He performed so well there that many college coaches, including Butler's Brad Stevens, showed up in Brownsburg the next week. Stevens was blown away by Hayward's size and skill, pleading with Safford not to showcase him on the summer circuit. "If everyone sees him," Stevens said, "everyone will want him." The Butler coach went so far as to tell Hayward he might someday play in the NBA. "That was the first time that I kind of thought that I could do this," Hayward said. Pride of Berg Purdue was the alma mater of both parents, and Hayward grew up attending Purdue games and wearing Purdue gear. Butler was not an afterthought. The campus was nearby, although Hayward thought it was a Division II or III school. Purdue offered him a scholarship, but he committed to Butler, calling Stevens with the good news while on a Florida vacation to Disney World. The dreams were just starting to come true. After his freshman season, he was invited to USA basketball tryouts at Colorado Springs, Colorado, for an under-19 national team. That came 12 months ago, and that is where he first interested NBA scouts. He helped the United States win a gold medal and was named to the 5-player all-tournament team. His stock mirrored Butler's rise last season. The Bulldogs' 25-game winning streak ended April 5 in the NCAA championship game with a 61-59 loss to Duke at Lucas Oil Stadium. Hayward missed a baseline jumper in the final seconds, then nearly made a half-court shot as time expired. Analysts everywhere agreed it would have been the greatest shot and greatest upset in basketball history. Suddenly, it no longer was a question of when and whether Hayward would be drafted, but how high. Days before his May 7 announcement to leave Butler, he went to Brownsburg and visited Gary King, the former Little League World Series coach dying of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Hayward confirmed to King that he was going pro. It was another example of hometown devotion. In the celebrated Too Big, Yo rap that Hayward recorded over spring break, he referred to the Berg. "He has returned here to speak to schoolchildren. We're most proud of how he's handled it, how humble he's been," Kendrick said. "He hasn't forgotten his roots." Hayward will have an all-Brownsburg mini entourage in New York: his parents, Heather and her boyfriend, Brett Hartnagel, a former tennis teammate of her brother, and Hayward's girlfriend, Colby Killingback. The 20-year-old is about to become Butler's first NBA player since 1953, and first selected in the first round. He will be the 9th Indianapolis area player in the league since 2006. "It's been a dream to play at this level," Hayward said. "Finally, he can believe it."